little technical difficulty.
We
If
are
you're
we are back.
one of my students still listening, you are well aware of Mr. Hendricks's technical difficulties that are consistently happening throughout the class. So I think I may have hit something or
No worries.
leaned on something I shouldn't have, and that hit something I shouldn't have, and it closed the window, um, the whole window. So
And
it
this is
it
this is
was it,
exactly the political left explaining why they are such a failure. Like this
yes,
this is
yes.
this is
I'm
the
Pete
political
Buttigieg
left.
right now.
Yeah, it's
But so, for example, like Pete Buttigieg,
hmm.
he was put in such a position to succeed. You know who he is?
Yeah, I'm just checking
Pete
him out right
Buttigieg.
away.
He is. He was a presidential candidate, and he was close to almost becoming a candidate, the Democratic nominee.
Hmm.
He was a young mayor from Notre Dame, the college
Hmm.
town. That's all of his experience, I believe. But he was a young guy. He just so happened to be gay, um, and have a husband that was a teacher, and they were married. And and that's great and all, but he became the Department of Transportation secretary, and I don't think he was that happy with it,
Hmm.
his position. But then airplane industry starts messing up.
Hmm.
That's an opportunity.
Yeah.
If Teddy Roosevelt, who was the assistant commissioner of the Navy that rebuilt America's Navy back in like 1898 or whatever year, he took that opportunity when he had it. He could have completely salvaged our airlines and all of the corruption and problems we were having and still are having within our silly airline industry. Yet he did nothing. When that train derailed onto the Ohio town and dumped a bunch of chemicals onto it, do you know what he was doing when that happened?
No.
He was talking about how we needed more black female pilots. He was
Hmm.
giving a speech about that. And that's okay and all. And sure, maybe we do, or we do. Okay. It's just, you know, I don't think there's anything preventing that from happening outside of black females wanting to be pilots. And that can happen. Go for it. If you're one of my students, go for it. Um, but to be talking about that when people have chemicals that are killing them and you don't even acknowledge it, that's such a huge opportunity you're wasting. You should have been there, had the cameras all over you, saying, I'm here to help you. I'm here to protect you. We're going to fix this. We're going to investigate this company. I'm on your side. He could have been president so easily.
Yeah, like
And yet
we
he
saw
didn't
what.
show up. Guess who showed up? Donald Trump showed up and went to their McDonald's and was joking around with their McDonald's workers like a couple days later. Like he sniffed that opportunity, and that was his a comeback.
He understands the media game so well. This is something that I'll give to Trump. I mean, and this is something even like George Washington, like he was standing on the rubble with the firefighters when 9/11 happened. He was on the ground and he was
Yes.
there. It's really important for people to be able to look up to their leader in times of crisis.
Yeah, and for the leader to show up. Um, like he smelled this political opportunity. Like no one was showing up, and people were demanding Buttigieg show up, and Buttigieg was dodging them. And then this was actually when DeSantis was almost neck and neck with Trump in the polls. And then Trump showed up to this thing, went to the sites and talked to the people and said, if I was president, I'd be helping you, unlike Joe Biden, who was ignoring the situation, by the way, at the time. And then he went to the McDonald's and he was joking around with the McDonald's and saying how he's the greatest McDonald's eater ever or whatever. He's always the greatest everything, according to him. But, you know, what he was still there and joking around with the employees of this small Ohio town that just had this horrendous tragedy. And then that just skyrocketed him, and he hasn't stopped.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Like it's amazing how smart of a politician he is for how much of a joke he is stereotyped as
I
in
mean,
America.
he understands his core audience, and I don't personally think that there's anything wrong with him. Like, apart from maybe the left, I guess the problem with the left is that they are so focused on the creamy elites of the society that they forget that the mass uh, populace is not part of that elite culture. This is exactly what is happening everywhere. Like, even in India, this is happening in private universities, right? So private universities in India are invested so heavily in cultural programs, in events, that they're forgetting that university has to be an academic institution first, right? Don't let your college become a 3 year paid vacation for students. Like 17, 18, 19 year olds, when entering university, they think of this as a treat from their parents, that, oh, for 3 4 years you can now relax, participate in events, travel, uh, maybe dance at a few places, sing-alongs, do some random activities, some quizzes and whatnot. You're not gaining actual marketable skills, and nobody's asking you to be a sheep, or uh, nobody's asking you to be a dull boy, but at least invest at least 2 3 hours daily into one skill. If you just invest 2 hours in one skill, in 3 years, like, what, you're going to have almost 2,000 hours of experience.
That's a great point, and that same thing's happening in America. Some sort of apathy, or like maybe I see it a lot in high school. Like this, it's a nothing matters mentality, but the university level, getting worthless degrees. You got to leave it with a degree with a skill. If you can't describe what your degree is in a couple words, like, oh, education, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a policeman. I mean, I know there's that tradition at college, or I'm going to be a detective, forensics, attorney, banker,
Yeah,
etc., barber,
exactly.
like a trade school.
What value do you bring to society that society is going to give you money in exchange for? As simple as that.
Yeah, it's and there's an argument from the liberal arts side of things, just because I'm so heavily educated in that, would be, well, college is the experience where you explore different subjects and learn everything that your mind seeks to learn, and that it should be an experience of growth. Now, the counter argument to that is, well, I'm going to be in debt to you the rest of my life, and I sure need to make some money to pay off that debt. Um,
Like,
Now,
to that, one could
the
say
debt problem,
the mind is
huh?
fool. The mind is a These are 17-year-olds. I'm
Yeah.
20 and I'm dumb. If if I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life anyway, like, why would I not consume drugs and drink alcohol and just lay all day and do fuck all? Sorry, do nothing. Just like, this is horrendous. It's stupid.
Listen, you can use profanity. It's fine.
Like,
I
we are
shouldn't.
we are committing a crime against our own people by giving them stuff for allegedly for free.
Mm.
It's not benefiting them. If it was, why are all the high paying jobs being shipped off to foreign countries? The people who have the argument that immigrants are coming to take my jobs, yes, because they have the skill which your kids do not, because your colleges are invested more in giving them a free paid vacation. Indian universities are teaching horse riding. Horse riding. We do not have horse course. Who is using a horse? Indian road doesn't have space for a pedestrian. Why would I want a horse?
I don't know. I mean, that seems to be like a social class thing, man. That's
Like,
you're right. That does sound like a vacation. That's not just like exploring the classics and learning Greek literature or something. That's like,
yesterday we had a
just
DJ
where
night in our university. It was a music
you know
concert.
what?
Yesterday we had a music concert in our university. I didn't
Yeah.
go, but it was a music concert. Music concert. Academic institution. We don't have Wi-Fi.
So you don't have Wi-Fi? Um, you don't have Wi-Fi at your university?
Not in every place, just certain libraries. But hey, you get to dance. Education loan.
So what major are you going for again?
Mass communication and journalism.
That's right. Oh yes, you wrote. I can't believe I forgot that.
No worries.
Well, I can't believe I forgot that just because I'm forgetful. But yeah, because you wrote a good paper that I read, um, and I think you are a good writer.
Thank you.
But I think you are. That is maybe something you should just look into. Is that right there? Is your generation wasting their time in college? I think a lot of people my age, a lot of Americans, millennials that are called elder millennials, which are the current 35 to 40-year olds males, have led very strange lives. A lot of us are divorced. A lot of us um, have had multiple wives. Um, a lot of us have become addicted to drugs. A lot of like the opioid epidemic ripped through my generation, which led to a lot of divorce, and then it impacted a lot of my students. I've seen it. Um, and then the ones that went to college, like myself, if you didn't get a degree with a point, you were left in a lot of debt unless you were lucky enough to have scholarships like myself and then become a teacher to get forgiveness like I have. Like there was ways to do it, by the way. Like I've been, you got to be tactical and you got to think and you got to be like, okay, this money's unlike credit card debt in America, which, yeah, you know, you have a credit score, but they aren't even accurate. Of any student still listening, avoid credit cards. Just don't use them. But unless you have to for an emergency. Um, but student loans, they will take out of your paycheck. They will take out of your social security when you're older. They are getting their money back. And um, a lot of people my age really went deep into debt and got degrees and silly things. And now we're baristas and stuff like, and a lot of them have done very, very well. Don't get me wrong. It's not the ones that you would imagine. Like the people that people thought would struggle, the people that did like um, sociology degrees, for example, thought, oh, these people aren't going to have a shot. No, they did. They became part of the corporate boards, and for example, they worked at Bud Light and made certain cans that people got mad at and then boycotted. If you remember if you've ever heard of the
Yeah.
Bud Light boycott
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
America,
I have.
that came from a sociology major.
I
And
also remember the Jenner, that who was that, Kendall Jenner PepsiCo ad during the Black Lives Matter protest. That Pepsi ad, right? She was.
yeah, um, if only Kendall Jenner was around to save the whole world. Maybe she can go to India and solve y'all's problems.
Yeah, I'll
You
just put my bank details over here somewhere.
know.
If Kendall Jenner, if you're watching this, I'll buy one of your over
Oh,
expensive, like extravagantly priced cosmetics.
oh, that's a whole other issue. We have little kids now, apparently, like little girls, just randomly going into stores and putting on makeup at like 7 years old. Some students were telling me this. I'm just like, what? It's
I
a
mean,
TikTok trend or something.
appearance
I
has
don't.
a like this industry has taken on females, so and the males are just as much as involved in this. But like as far
But
as
the
I've
males have
seen,
become like,
huh?
sorry to interrupt, but like
No, no, no.
despondent.
Yeah, exactly,
It
exactly.
feels like,
Yeah.
and then the females have gone. I don't know how to describe it. What are you seeing in India?
I mean, this is universal. Females are way more concerned about their appearance than men
Yes.
here, and I mean, I recently I went to college to get my fee reset and something like that, and we did some work, 1 hour or 2 hours of work. We edited some videos, and for lunch we went outside. We went to the mall. We had lunch, and then 5 6 hours we spent at a shopping mall. I was with some female friends of mine, and they were just browsing through dresses and cosmetics and makeups, and I enjoyed that. Like I enjoyed their company. I enjoy being with them. I was just noticing the amount of females in shopping malls is significantly higher. I didn't see any male over there, like apart from the ones who were like just accompanying their companions and just holding their bags for them so that they can shop.
The
Like,
the classic bag holder. Oh, I've
yeah,
been there.
and I was like,
Yeah, just
Why aren't there any males? Why aren't they shopping here?" And that's when I thought to myself, "Oh, okay, I don't shop. I shop online. I don't browse." And I guess men are generally more minimalistic when it comes to apparel and stuff.
yeah. I mean, we also don't have the same expectations on us, right? Like, looks, like, right? We're expected to provide, at least in America. This is my
Yeah,
American
I
view.
guess
Like,
that is also at least in India, I see that as being self-imposed. Like females have to say more bad things about other females' appearances than males ever. Like males will hardly ever say anything bad about the appearance of females. It's the females where all the negativity is. At least in India, like at least what I have seen, the negativity between
that is
female to female is significantly higher.
and I also teach psychology, and that's pretty much. I guess that's a world thing then, because the same thing is true here in America. Like, I rarely see it done now face to face because it's very passive aggressive. Same thing with men though nowadays. Um, like there's less aggression face to face, but a lot of talking trash online. With
Online.
females, it's going behind the back and reputation destruction. And you know, this I'm forgetting his name. The psychologist anyways, this one psychologist once posed a question: does any female ever have a friend for real?
Oh damn.
Right? Like, it, like one, you're going in some territories there that can be controversial, but two, I don't know, right? Like,
Uh,
is
I,
it biological? Like, it's an interesting question, right?
I guess for males, especially in India, like you sit next to someone on the first day of school, and then you are ride or die. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
That's all.
and that's one thing I'm sort of kind of concerned about with some of my students and like some of the boys is I'm seeing less and less of like sort of that. Like, I hate to say it like this, but like jock mentality, what America's known for.
Mhm.
Um, Top Gunness,
Top
like and
guns.
more just despondency and
Sigma males. Alpha chads.
I wish we had Sigma males. That's a myth online that these people watch at home depressed and say, "Oh, I'm just depressed because I'm a Sigma male." My opinion now. Um, it's like, no, you're not some lone wolf character. You're just lonely in your room, man. Like, go
Right.
get out there and be yourself, and you'll be fine. I think maybe it was the plague that went around the planet and the isolation that came from it, inflation, possibly things just going wrong. But at the same time, in America, we're living pretty damn good lives, and the
Probably,
opportunity.
probably better than 70% of the world. Like even the most elite individuals in India who can stop working today and live their lives just as they are living for 3,000, 4,000 years, even they would want to take a loan to send their kids to America. Legally, illegally, crossing the border, they are willing to subject themselves to horrendous situations for 2, 3 days just to get inside the American border. That's like because that's America.
That's amazing.
They
See,
would
like
rather
just as
be
that point of view, American students don't know. I mean, they see the crisis at the border,
crisis at the border.
um,
Right.
and I try to use that. Like, look at these people like risking death to come in for opportunity
And
for
they're
what
not
you're
poor
just
people.
given.
They're really rich back home. Like okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I never even thought about that. Like, you know what? Actually, no, that makes sense because there's a couple of Venezuelans that were interviewed, and they're like, "Yeah, I was a doctor in Venezuela," and then I guess he later became a cook, just a line cook in America.
Rather to be like people would rather be a slave in US than be a king in India. And it is I I, I don't know what I can say on that, but I can understand where they are coming from. If I were given a chance to be the CEO of or some high level government official in India and live a normal middle class life in US, I would choose US. If I could, I would because it's once you're above a certain level of income, then it stops being about yourself and then starts being about the surroundings. Because every single person that I've interacted with in at least my peer group has the same exact thing. I hate everybody else. Everybody else is not as intellectual as me. I am
Interesting.
sophisticated. Everybody else is from a village, but I am sophisticated. So I deserve or I want to be surrounded by the people that I like. I like the Koreans, the Americans, the Europeans, the whites, everybody else. Like uh, this fantasy or this romanticization of disassociating yourself from your roots to acquire the identity of somebody else, which is globally presented via media to be a great nation or a society. It's really fascinating. Like it's really
It
great.
is fascinating because I can tell you, it's not always greener. The grass is not always greener on the other side. America can be a brutal place. We have 10 cities right now. We have people living in tents. Um, Hoovervilles, we used to call them. But it's also the land of opportunity. And, if you come over here and you do wash dishes, your kids then have that opportunity then. That's why these people are doing what they're doing and taking the
Exactly,
dangerous
exactly.
crossing.
Yeah,
And
very recently, I think on the 23rd of February, an Indian student was ran over by some cop who was like driving very fast while responding to some drug call, and that opened up a conversation in India about police immunity. And like, so we are aware of the problems, but we still would want to risk it. We would still want that because it's just better. And it's better in one word. It is better. The quality of life is better.
that's interesting. Um, and then I'm glad you said that just because I don't know. I think some of the despondency over here is like this idea that we're falling apart or something that it's like, no, we're not. We're doing fine. And I was trying to tell my students this on Friday. Like, y'all have so many opportunities in front of you. You don't even know. And if you don't lose this, like just I don't care attitude. And it's not like the same, oh, school sucks, bro. I can deal with those guys all day long.
That's
Like
very normal for
that's
teenagers.
all right. Here, let me tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna go work construction, do this, that. You'll be making a ton of money by the time you're 40. At Duke Energy, building power lines or something. Um, it's this, you know, education's unimportant. It's a weird new attitude we haven't dealt with in education, and it's a despondency. More people are dropping out than ever. Like I said, I don't know if I've told you this statistic, but men 30 to 40% of us are doing nothing in America. They just leech off of females, play video games, and smoke weed all day. And
Where do I
that's
sign
it.
up?
Well, I mean, for me at least, that would get old after 2 days. And then you're completely dependent on a lady, which is fine and all, but to me, that's
Sounds,
emasculating.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Like it would
You
start to
know,
hurt
you're
the
not a
self
man.
esteem.
You man. Now you can like split income, you know. Y'all can work out if she makes more money than you, who cares? I don't care. I'm a teacher, right, in America. So but you know, I have the argument of look what I'm doing, right?
Yeah,
So it's just like, but again, I'm part of the 60% that is doing something. And, you know, the females in my generation will not date someone without a college degree either. So the dating market's quite fascinating right now.
in India it is a
Um,
house. You have to own a house if you want to get married.
ooh, I can see that coming to America soon because housing's getting wild. How's the housing market in India?
Brilliant. Perfect opportunity to invest. If you want to invest in something, invest in real estate. Because there are a lot of internet gurus who have read Rich Dad Poor Dad once, and now they are financial experts and they are advising people, 17-year-olds, invest in mutual funds, invest in stocks, don't buy house. House is a liability. Your house is a liability. Live on rent. India has very cheap rent, so you live on rent. And then COVID came, and when the landlords started evicting, because yeah, and then people realized, okay, your house is your house. No, that's the importance of a house is understood by those who have a family, not by those who live on it. Like, I can understand if you're a bachelor living in a different city for work purposes, then of course you'll rent. But you have to have a house, buddy. You have to have a house for a family.
Interesting. Yeah, oh, I get that. Um, that's fascinating. Um, that I mean, that's it. Like where you live is important in America, but I would say more the education part because that's a status thing. And even if you are like a teacher or, you know, someone that's not making, you know, hedge fund money, you can still go to a dinner. I can go to a dinner and say, yeah, I work at an underprivileged Title One school. And I automatically, my status goes way up
Yeah, it's about respect.
because they think movies, right? That they've seen of like this teacher that goes into the troubled, even though it's not like that at all. My school is full of great kids. Um, but to them, I'm going into this like area where I may get shot and like, you know, all this stuff. And it's wild when I've like described some people. Oh yeah, I teach at this school, and they're like, oh, how do you do that? Like I'm walking on the moon or something. You know, it's so weird.
I was
But
talking to you once with a female friend of mine. She was also on the meet. I don't recall which one, and she texted me on WhatsApp while we were talking. Hey, can you please ask him has he ever seen a school shooting? Like that's not what America is all about. Like just because he's a teacher doesn't mean he has seen school shooting.
you know, guns are everywhere, especially in Florida. Like, but No, they're not that. I haven't even seen outside of one time in a bad neighborhood I shouldn't have been in Holiday Lake Estates, which is in Pasco County. The county. We'll do one last thing.
Sure, sure, sure.
Let's take a look at the legendary here. I'm gonna find it first. Holiday Lake Estates in Pasco County, and yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, so this fine little area is north of the lake I live in. Remember, I live in a compound underneath the lake,
Okay.
or in the lake. I'm sorry.
In the lake.
So there it is, right there.
Hmm.
Um, and Holiday Lake Estates is right here. Where is the county line? It's right, usually, I think, right about here is the county line. I'm surprised they don't have it marked. Um, yeah, along Anclote Boulevard. So this like river separates our two counties, and you enter. Let me pull out so I can show you. Pasco. This whole area right here is Pasco,
Tampa.
and
Nice.
it's a different type of community. It's a little corrupt. I'll send you this video. They do pre-policing there,
Okay.
predictive policing, where if you get in trouble in school, the cops just start harassing you
The cop starts harassing you.
and they will chase you out of the county.
Okay.
So I was shot at in this neighborhood,
Oh, that's rough.
and it was basically, see, dollar stores are very common. Um, that's a kind of a sign in America, a class sign. The more dollar stores you see, unfortunately, means the more probably impoverished the area is. Um,
Hmm. What is happening with
and
the? I'm sorry to cut. I saw a lot of Reddit posts about this that uh, some shopping malls are actually like in some areas theft is being allowed like in shopping malls. What is that
oh,
about?
I'll not in Florida, but I'll get to that one second.
Not in Florida.
So,
Right.
yeah, this husband caught his wife cheating on him and was literally chased the guy or something out of the house and was shooting at him and nearly, like, the bullet nearly hit me. I was at some party in high
Oh man.
school in this neighborhood. I'll never forget it.
Don't
So
cheat,
it
guys.
wasn't
Don't
like,
cheat.
yeah, I mean, I've never seen anyone just wildly shoot a gun off, but that's this county. I've had students that have lived in this area and have insane stories. It's an insane county, and it's Florida. A lot of Florida man stories come from this area.
Florida, man.
Um,
Yeah.
it's a wild place.
Hey, what is
Newport
that?
Richie, huh?
I saw some structure of sand, like land in the sea. Yeah, this geometrical structure. What is this? Floor and mar.
This.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it. I believe that's a big marina-like community of housing.
Wow. Imagine
Um,
having a house on that. Like, how much would it cost?
Gulf Harbors. I actually have a friend that lives here. The houses aren't that actually bad, believe it or not.
Like, I mean,
Because
like,
it's Pasco County now.
oh,
Remember,
oh, right.
so
But
the houses are really close to each other.
it looks so great. Like,
Um,
imagine waking up and like opening your window, seeing a water body outside. It's
yeah, actually, I think I have one of my friends. I think this is the house right there. One of my very good friends. Um, he's a
looks great.
bouncer at a. He's a big guy, and he throws people out of clubs. Um,
Job description.
so, um, oh yeah, I know. There's like Florida has this ability to do things like this and make it affordable for the middle class. Like
Hmm.
these aren't people that live here. You'll have carpenters, you'll have construction people living in these houses. It's not the upper class, it's not the lower class, but it's like the working to middle class.
It's the silent elites, I would
Like
say, like people you don't expect to have money, but like they are secretly
so,
balling.
imagine the guy driving that will be living in here.
Damn.
So I'm not trying to insult that dude. That's
Yeah,
a
I
hard
mean,
job, junk removal and demolition. But um, yeah, that's an interesting area.
that's
It's
lovely.
old though. It's like an older development. Um, someone's genius idea. But Florimar is definitely sort of a cool little place.
Yeah.
That's a cool little hotel.
Oh, Hacienda.
Yes,
I
house in
I've
Spanish.
heard this name in Player Unknown's Battleground. It's a it's a game. It's an online game. There is a location called Hacienda.
Yeah, I believe it's house in Spanish. Maybe I
Oh,
don't. I could be completely wrong. Um,
Everglades. Oh,
say that. What'd you say?
I thought I saw Everglades.
You may have saw Emerald Beach.
Emerald Beach. Okay, sorry.
Um, the Everglades are more to the south. So if we
Okay.
pull back, the Everglades are all down here, and we've actually drained most of them, and we're now paying $1 billion to restore them.
I was very
So that's
small.
fun.
Like I was very young when shows about the Everglades rainforest would come on television, and I was really interested in snakes back then. So there was some TV show which would like feature Burmese pythons, and then some forest officers would like take snakes away from houses. I was like, I really loved watching that show. I forgot what it was named.
Do you know about the Python Hunter?
Uh, no.
I will send you a link to the Python Hunter. He's a guy
Definitely.
that goes out into the Everglades and hunts pythons and kills them.
Why?
You'll like it. It's right up your alley. So this is Wikiwachi.
Oh,
Um,
water park?
this is a must see. This is right to the north. I think we're now outside of danger Pasco zone. And once you're up here, you go into Hernando. Yep, Hernando Beach. And so, in context, like down there, Pasco up until that line. And then it becomes a little bit, you know, it's still very Florida manny, but it's less crazy.
How would like what's the commute like? How long would you say it takes for an average American to commute daily? How much time they spend in a car?
Oh, it depends. It all depends on your job, but I would say 30 minutes.
Sounds fine.
Um, no, it's not bad at all. Like
In
if
India
I
we
were to
spend more
pull
time than
out
this.
like my commute from right about here to right about there. No, that's my old work. Um, for the National Guard to where I showed you.
Yeah.
It's technically 40 minutes. I can get there in 30 minutes. I like the drive. It can take longer, but school starts so early that there's no one on the road. Now, when
Uh,
I leave, it takes me a little bit longer, but I don't mind the drive as much as long as it's not like a lot of accidents or something. It's cathartic. It's a good way to wake up too. Um, but the more north you go, so this right here is the I-4 corridor. That is a megalopolis. Like it's just town after town after town until Daytona Beach. And then if you go up the state, you have Gainesville. But all this area in between here is just old school Florida, literally old town. So it is an old town.
Old town.
Um, and ooh, Tatel.
Tallahassee.
Yes,
Itself.
that's the capital.
Oh.
And then Tatel is I'll send you a link about Tatel, why it's called that. Um,
US is huge. Like, huge, huge.
it's big. Um, I think Florida's fascinating, you know, because it's just so weird.
Hmm.
It's just such a weird area. Then you have
Uh,
Disney and all that stuff
Orlando.
here. Um, then the land that no one really knows about, but that's a very culturally significant place
The land.
for like African Americans and
Miami has a
um,
beach. I saw Miami down there somewhere.
yeah, Miami. Uh, I'm
It's
biased. I'm not a big Miami fan. It's very crowded. It's very in your face. Like I get it.
looks like it.
I
Like,
don't need to see everyone in a
so
thong. Like I don't need nude beaches every miles.
understandable.
Um, but at the same time, I love the Keys,
Hmm.
and I highly recommend going. They're so cool. Like, and one road connects them all, and they are so cool. Just the history of them and um, the culture down there in actual Key West is so cool. Um,
What is the most staple food in Florida? Like, what do people eat the most?
ooh, good question. Um, Now, what do you mean by that?
Like,
Like,
some food items which are like very common in like standard breakfast or like lunch or dinner. Like when someone says, "Hey, come over my house for dinner," what is the person expecting to have?
okay, it depends, right? So there's Taco Tuesdays,
Okay.
and that's sort of a tradition. A lot of like families do, which is they just get taco kits, which is just like hard shells and like corn shells, and like then they have beef or chicken, and make little tacos. It could be baked chicken, fried chicken. Like if I invite people over, if it's like a family function, my mom will come over and we will fry it. She will fry them chicken and do mac and cheese. Like she does all the old soul food, but it's Southern food, by the way.
Oh,
Um, and then in Florida, orange juice. But for breakfast, bacon, eggs, grits, which is a. Do you have grits in India?
no.
Is like a meal, like a
Okay.
cornmeal. I don't know how to put it. Like
No worries, no worries. I mean, I'm just observing like there's so much
it's
grease.
porridge
Oh,
almost.
Polish, right? That I know. There's so much grease in the food, and yet generally Americans are healthier. Like in general, like they're healthy, like despite having so much grease and oil.
So it all depends on if you exercise or not. It really does.
Hmm.
Um, if you and how often you do that.
Of
Like,
course.
everyone's on a different diet. Everyone, there's like gluten free this and that. Pizza is another one. I didn't even think about
Oh,
that.
yeah, pizza.
So if it's a large group of people, ordering a from a local pizza place, if possible, or a Pizza Hut, Papa John's, whatever.
Papa
If
John's.
it's
Yes, that's
like
also in India. We have Wendy's here
Yeah.
in my city.
Huh?
We have Wendy's in my city
Oh yeah,
recently.
Wendy's.
Yeah.
Now I'm a Wendy's fan. Um,
Yeah, I like the egg sandwich.
that's seen as the slightly higher like class McDonald's.
Right.
You know, it's weird, but um,
It's
it's a
nice.
cool spot. I like Wendy's.
Uh, I've ordered from there. I like their breakfast egg sandwich. It's standard and it's nice. Great, easy.
Have you ever heard of this place, the Villages?
No?
So this area is
Mhm.
full of all people older than like 60 years old, and it's one of the biggest retirement homes in the world. But it's not. They all drive like golf carts,
Oh, so
and
like
they're huge Trump supporters, and like there's no like schools really. There might be one or two because of the people that work in there, but it's a wild place. It's like it leads the state in STDs.
oh,
So
I
you
we
know, it's a,
people.
it.
Uh, I'm like what
I'm
I'm
that's another thing I'm gonna send you is a link on that.
definitely.
Um,
I what I'm observing is that there are just so many small water bodies everywhere. Like it's so great to
oh,
just
Florida is wild. Like we're a big. So what I like to say about Tampa Bay, like that little bay I live in,
yeah.
is basically it's a toilet. And because what happens is my county is so overpopulated
Hmm.
that if a bad um like storm comes, they'll dump out all of their sewage and septic tanks into the bay.
Uh,
So you just think that would just be a bunch of crap. What happens is the hurricane comes and sucks all of that water out into the Gulf and it disperses and goes out to the greater ocean. And then fresh water comes in. And they
nice.
always get away with it. And it always makes me mad because they're like, we shouldn't do this. And I promise we won't. And then
But we
they
have
go and
to.
do it again. But yeah, but honestly, the other choice is letting, if it floods, then all of that crap will literally rise up and um, go into the streets and on people. So that's not good. So that's why they do it. But it's a problem because
In India, there is sewage and crap everywhere anyway, so we are kind of used to it.
yeah, that's you know not a good thing. You know, you gotta
Yeah,
try to stop getting crap out.
we can try all we want.
Um,
Like India has improved a lot in infrastructure, but it's just that it's so massive the difference between the middle class and the lower class, and of course the rich elites will anyway be rich elites. That difference is so humongous that it almost feels like preaching the moment you talk about sanitation, hygiene, standard of living, quality of life, studying in an English medium school. These things are so foreign to more than 60% of India. It just feels like okay, let's not go there because even for the middle class the competition is intense. We have 1.5 billion people.
that's wild, man.
Almost
It's
1.4.
hard for Americans to wrap our heads around that stuff. Like, because we got so much land,
Yeah.
like just open. And I like to say my county's overpopulated, but when I say that, you're probably like, yeah, okay, dude. Right? Like, because it's not compared to, the UP, I would imagine. It's not even
Yeah,
close.
yeah, exactly. India is smaller than the United States with almost four times the population.
Gee, oh, that's a good stat.
Like,
That's good. Like,
and it's just crazy how many people there are. It's also beautiful in a way, but the younger generation is not. We don't like. to be lectured. We don't like when others intrude in our personal matters, and this is something that the adults have difficult time getting around. In India, like I said, it's considered disrespectful, or the person will actually feel hurt if they are offering you something and you reject it. So, like, if you are ever going to any marriage in India, there will always be people who will come to you and specifically ask you, "Hey, did you had the food? Did you had this? Did you had this? Did you had this? Why are you not eating? Why are you not eating? Eat." They actually want you. They'll just make like it's like how grandmothers treat grandchildren, like just to spoil them.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. Like I went to a destination wedding last month to in the mountains. It was lovely, absolutely amazing. And even there, like in any marriage, there'll always be people who will come to ask you, "Did you? Why are you not eating? Why are you not eating?" Like you're expected to
So
eat.
why are they asking that? Is it like, are they trying to see if you're not liking something, or
Yeah, it could be because of that. I think their generation has lived through so much of poverty and drought and uh, malnutrition that having food 3 times a day was such a luxury for them. Uh, and India has industrialized so rapidly. Like 1991, we opened our economy and foreign investments came, foreign companies came, and we have like just a graph. It goes straight up
yeah?
for a lot of families. Getting one job means one person getting a job can like uplift 5 6 people along with him on the social economic scale.
Wow.
And to be able to afford food and like to be able to provide is such a great thing. Like hospitality is a big part of our culture. uh, we value guests a lot. So it's kind of like that. Okay, like we are getting married and all of the people are invited, and if you're invited you're expected to eat a lot of food. So we generally don't eat a lot while going to some marriage. We're like, okay, we'll eat over there, otherwise they might not appreciate the gesture, that, oh, I'm not going to eat it. It kind of shows, like, is the food bad for you? Like, why don't you want to eat it?
Well, I think that's kind of a beautiful thing, and I think that's a good thing to end on.
Definitely.
And it's also pretty late here, so it's 3 a.m.
I never
Um,
realize how much time flies by when I'm just like
it
talking.
does, right?
Like,
I like these conversations, and I think this idea, maybe you helping me out with some of this stuff, the sociology stuff, might be a great idea if you don't mind, of course.
anytime, I absolutely love it. It's actually good for me.
Um,
I get to revise a lot of the things that I practice in second and third semester.
yeah, so if you don't mind, of course, sending me this clip or
Yeah, I'll
whatever,
just
or putting it
upload
up.
this to yeah, I'll upload this to YouTube and send you the link. No worries.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Malay. I pronounced your name right, correctly?
Yes, yes, exactly. It's Malay.
Okay. Um, just make double, triple, quadruple checking. I've known you for 2 years, right? I shouldn't have to ask that, but it's, students would also be like, yeah, that's Mr. Hendricks. Um, anyways, so thank you for doing this. I am very grateful. I'm glad I have a connection in India, you
Yeah,
know, and I enjoy our chats. So
I do it.
thank you for taking the time to do this, and I hope you have a great Sunday.
All right, it's Sunday over here. Like in final semester of college, we are all sitting at home. So like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, any day, sitting at home, feeding off of our parents. Like we are
Well,
Indians.
hey,
We don't have to leave the house unless we are like 25, 26, 27, even 30-year old. We,
all right, we'll get into that next time.
next time, definitely.
Um, all right, buddy. Well, I'll talk to you. Let's do this again sometime, and I hope you have a beautiful day, my friend.
Yeah, I hope you have a good night's rest and like have a lot of fun on your weekend as well. It's always great talking to you. I just love the perspective, and it's amazing what we can achieve. Like I'm sitting at my home learning that people in US are learning the same thing in high school that I learned in college. So that's also a privilege for kids in US that they get
Yes,
to
it
learn stuff
is.
first.
It's a big privilege that people shouldn't take lightly. Hint,
Otherwise,
hint.
you'll end up getting a bad grade, which, like,
Well, it's not even so much about the grade. It's about education, and just it's so valuable to life and leading a good life, regardless of money and stuff. Like,
exactly, exactly.
it's fun. It's cool. Like, you don't want to be the guy at the party with nothing to say when someone brings up a topic,
Hmm.
right? You don't want to be that dude. You want to be the guy that has something cool to say.
Oftentimes, I found this that people who don't have anything to say, they either become a jerk or they're left alone.
Yeah, right. Like, and you don't have to always have something to say about everything, but when you're education, you have so much knowledge, you want to share it, and it's just cool. So, this whole idea that education is uncool is so stupid.
Yeah, like
Um,
whoever is peddling that, just look into their lives and what they are offering their kids. Like this is a standard benchmark. Like any politician in India will have their child sent to a foreign elite university. So that's how middle class Indians have figured out. Oh, this is the reason. That's why Indian middle class is also running in droves towards foreign universities because the education there is great.
mm,
It's important. Yeah,
well,
let's study and let's rest. Have fun.
yeah. Well, hopefully,
Stay
if
goofy
you're a
though.
student and you
Stay
made it this
goofy.
far, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Malay, thank you again, buddy. I'll
Yeah.
be in
Anytime.
contact with you. Let's do this again. I'll send you some links and about some of those spots I told you about, and um, I'm gonna go ahead and head to bed. And I hope you have a great night, my friend, or a
Okay.
great
Great day.
Sunday.
Right. Yeah, I think I'll head out to have some brunch with some friends.
All right. I hope you
Okay,
enjoy your
thanks.
brunch, my friend.
Thank you. I hope you have a good night's rest. Bye bye, sir. Thank you. It's
All right.
always great. It's always great having you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Always great talking to you, and have a great day, buddy. See ya.
Have a good night, sir. Bye bye.